Good morning everyone. Welcome to the discussion session on IBPS prelims quantitative paper. Right, so we are going to discuss today the second paper that we have conducted for IBPS prelims 2018, that is mock test 2. And in this session I'll be discussing with you the details and analysis of the quantitative section, the quantitative and data interpretation section of the second mock test that was conducted yesterday. So first, to go through a quick overview of the entire paper, to understand the types of questions and to understand the difficulty level that was there for the different types of questions. We can see here a breakup of all the 35 questions from the math part. Starting with the usual setting of the paper as designed based on the previous pattern of the banking prelims exams. We have questions on number series. Now if we see the questions on number series, there are 5 questions as is the normal case, with 1 question being of moderate difficulty level and 4 questions being of high difficulty level. As I have discussed in the previous session also, when we talk about difficulty level, we always keep in mind the time that is available for you in the examination for that particular section, or if you divide it for that particular question. We know that we get only 20 minutes for solving the entire quant section in the examination, now that we have sectional time limits also. A student who is targeting to clear the prelims examination would attempt at least 25 to 28 questions in the paper in 20 minutes, that's approximately 30-35 seconds per question. So keeping that in mind, we'll say that 1 question is from moderate difficulty level and 4 questions from high difficulty level. Now next comes the approximation question type. Now here even approximation questions, we had 3 high difficulty questions based on purely the amount of calculation required to solve those questions, and 2 questions of moderate difficulty level. Total number of questions from approximation 5. You should keep in mind that the number of questions on number series and approximation are almost like a fixed part in the examination, and at least you can expect 10 questions from number series and approximation combined. This is one area from where you must definitely score, but not by wasting too much time also. The third usual question type that is there in the prelims examination of IBPS in the quant section is the question set on quadratic equation. There are 5 questions again from quadratic equations, and you can see here the breakup that we are giving to you. 2 questions are moderate difficulty level and 3 questions are high difficulty level. Moving on to the questions on data interpretation, there were 2 sets of questions, one on double pie chart, where 2 pie charts with percentage values were given to you, and then questions based on those 2 pie charts. Actual values were not supplied along with the pie chart, and most questions required you to calculate data again and again. Questions were based on ratios and percentages and were calculation intensive. That's the first 5 question set from pie chart of high difficulty level based on this concept. Next was the question based on tables. Although the data given to you was very direct, you had data given to you in values, you did not have to find, you did not have to convert percentage into actual values, the actual data was given to you, but looking at the volume of data and the time it would take for you to add all the rows and columns and to find averages of each row or each column, based on that we would say that it was of high difficulty level. So 10 questions from data interpretation, high difficulty level, 1 set at least you could have solved. Ideally should have done the pie chart, because pie chart, if you would approach correctly, would take less time for you to solve in the examination. So 10 questions from data interpretation of high difficulty level, followed by 1 question from percentage. Again, it's a very unique question on percentage. We'll be discussing that question today, and that question was of high difficulty level because of the concept involved in solving that question. Next we have again 3 questions. 1 from profit and loss and 2 from simple and compound interest, 1 question from moderate difficulty level and 2 questions on high difficulty level. So total of 3 questions again from here. So normally what is the case, you see in the mathematics paper of the prelims examination, what you can expect is 5 from number series, 5 from approximation, 5 from your questions on quadratic equation, that's 15. 10 questions from data interpretation, that makes it 25, followed by 10 questions from all areas of arithmetic combined. So you could have questions on numbers, percentages, ratios, averages, speed, time, distance, time and work, partnership, all of these questions are the normal, you can say, composition of the 10 questions is from these areas only. Now in every paper we are trying to give different questions to you, so different set of 10 questions, not repeating the same pattern, so that you can get used to solving all types of questions in exam scenario. So here we have given to you 3 questions on ratios of high difficulty level. So SICI, that is simple interest and compound interest, and profit and loss 3 questions, and ratio 3 questions. Usually we see more questions on ratios, that is why we are also giving you greater number of questions from ratios in the 10 questions that come in the examination from arithmetic. Followed by speed, time and distance. This time we have only one question from speed, time, distance, and this question was a formula based question. Directly we can use the formula and solve. If you are attended by class on speed, time and distance, this question was from the topic of boats and stream. In the topic of boats and stream, I have discussed with you the direct shortcut techniques of solving some of the questions from boats and stream, and it is from those, one of those shortcut techniques that this question was based. If you don't know the shortcut technique, this could also be a high difficulty question for you because it will take you more time to solve. However, if you know the shortcut technique, it would be a very simple question. So that's why we are putting it under moderate difficulty level. Then we have question on time and work. One question this time, very simple question, just based on number of men and number of people working for some number of days. Basic calculation, 3-4 steps will get the answer. So we say this is moderate difficulty level question from time and work, followed by one question from average. That was again a simple question, 2-3 steps of calculation. You will get the answer easily in 30 to 40 seconds. So it is again of moderate difficulty level. So if you look at all of these questions here, how many moderate difficulty level questions were there? So if you see here, total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 2, 6, 2, 8 and 1, 9. So there are total, if you look at the entire paper, the moderate questions that could be easily done within 30 seconds itself. The total number of questions are 9, whereas the high difficulty questions, there are 26. Keep in mind that you only have 20 minutes in the examination. How are you going to plan properly? As I have discussed in the previous session also on maths that I took for IBPS mock test 1, you must not miss out on the moderate questions. That is so completely guaranteed. If you miss out on the moderate questions, you are not going to get a high score in this section. So definitely aim for the moderate questions first. 9 marks you can get directly from there, and this 9 marks that you get, you should try to get it within 6-7 minutes itself, not more than that, so that you are left with 13 more minutes in which you can then attempt the high difficulty questions. How do we understand when you go through a question, look at the number series questions by practicing, and that is why mock tests are so important, because mock tests make you understand which questions to leave, which questions to skip in the first attempt, how to go about the entire paper and how to strategize properly. That is the main purpose of conducting mock test. In addition to testing your preparation, to making sure that you have understood the concepts and you are familiar with the exam pattern and exam method, the way the exam is conducted, the online way, how it will come. So make you familiar with the online testing system. If you look at the different reasons why you must take mock test, one is to understand and know about your preparation, to get familiar with the exam environment, also to analyze and develop your own strategy. Now each person will have a different strategy based on his or her strengths and weaknesses. Clear? What questions you find easier to attempt in the examination, that will be different based on what other persons find easier to attempt in the examination. So select the right proportion, the right mix for you. Make it a unique strategy for your success and then use it. So in around 7 minutes, if you can do 9 questions and you are left with 13 minutes more, in which you can do around, let's say, 12 to 13 questions from the high difficulty questions, you should be looking at around a score of 20 to 22 as a good score, where you can say that you are in a safe position, you are doing well, your preparation is up to the mark. And even crossing around 16, 17 in this paper would be ideally clearing the cutoff in the actual exam scenario. But we want you to target this score of 20 to 22. Clear? So this is an overview of the entire paper. Now what we will do today is we will discuss some different sets of questions compared to what I discussed the last time when I was doing the discussion on the IBPS mock test 1. Now this is mock test 2. Let us see why we are talking about these number series questions and what do we mean by a high difficulty question and what do I mean by a moderate difficulty question from number series. So we will look at first the question from number series, then I will take up questions from approximation today, I will take up questions from quadratic equation, also a question from percentage, okay, and the 3 questions from ratios also I will be discussing with you. Why do we say that these 3 questions were of high difficulty level? Because you have to start understanding the question type and the difficulty level, so that the moment you look at a question you can immediately predict how much time it will take for you to solve this question. According to that you can then decide whether you are going to skip it in the first round of attempts or not. Okay, let us now see the first question that was there in the paper. Now this is again a number series question that has never come before in any examination, in any of the bank examinations. So it is a unique type of question that throws you with a different type of challenge, because you do not see this question in any book also. So completely new type of question for you. That is why first of all, because of it being a completely new question with no previous history, it becomes a difficult question, because then you are not comfortable solving it. Okay, let's look at this question. What is the solution? The answer is D. What is happening here is reverse plus 12. So what do we mean by reverse plus 12? Let us try to understand that. If you look at the first number 143, the second number is 353, the third number given to you is 367 followed by 779. Again it is 995, 619, then it becomes 938. We have to find out what will be the next number. If you look at the first, second, third, fourth number until the fifth number, you see the numbers are increasing, then suddenly the number is decreasing from 995 to 619. It is an abrupt type of pattern. It cannot be solved just by finding the difference of numbers, and this is what makes this question difficult and unique, is that the way in which the second term of the series is obtained is entirely different from what you have seen before while solving any question from any book and any sample paper. Okay, let us see, the first number is 143. What if you reverse this number? If you reverse this number, 143 becomes 341, and if you add 12 after reversing the number 12, you get the number 353. That is how you got this number 353. Now next time what you are doing is you are reversing the number, but you are not adding 12, you are adding 14. So that is again not constant. So not that we just can go reverse plus 12, reverse plus 12, no. It can be reverse plus 12, reverse plus 14. The way we are going to add after reversing can also change and make this question into a new question for you. So 353, if you reverse, again will remain 353. So when you add, you see here the difference between 343 and say 367, 367. इस तरह क्वेश्चन पहले आपने देखा नहीं होगा एग्जाम में, रिवर्स करके जो क्वेश्चन बनाया गया है सीरीज का completely new है ये. Okay, so we got the number 367. Now if you reverse this number 367, this will become how much? 763. Now what are we going to add? We are going to add 16. When you add 16, 3 plus 6 is 9 and 6 plus 1 is 7, and we get 779. That is how we get the number 779. So if the first number to second number we do reverse plus 12, from second to third we do reverse plus 14, from third to fourth we do reverse plus 16. So then if we continue further, इसके बाद का जो नंबर है वो क्या करेंगे आप, उसमें आप 18 ऐड करिए, फिर रिवर्स इट 977, So 779 will become 977. So we'll add 18 and that gives you the number 995. 18, okay. So 977 plus 18, 995, and then what is happening? 995 if you have got, now you want to get 619, you have to reverse it and add 16, 18, the next number will be 20. So you get 619 and so on, you go on doing. The next time you do 619 plus 22, you get 938. First of all, not 619, just reverse the number. So 916, 916 plus 28, 938. So we get 938. Now when you reverse it, it becomes 839, and 839 plus 24, if you do, you get the numbers 863, and that is your answer. So the approach of the question is so different, and because you have not seen it before, किसी भी पेपर में, किसी भी बुक में आपने देखा नहीं है, तो एक न्यू क्वेश्चन है आपके लिए, तो एग्जाम में उसको क्रैक करना थोड़ा टफ हो जाता है, इसलिए we are saying this is a high difficulty question for you. Okay. Now next question, if you look at the next question, this is a simpler, when say one moderate question was there, this is what I was talking about, the moderate difficulty level. So in this, the number that is being obtained, the answer is B. So from 12 when we go to 23, what we are doing is we are multiplying 2 and subtracting 1, and this is something that you have seen before also. It is not a completely new concept for you of multiplying and adding or multiplying and subtracting. So 12 into 2, 24, minus 1 is 23. From 23 when you go to 67, what you do is you multiply. Now 23 into 2 is 46, so we can't do 2, so we do into 3. Into 2 minus 1 into 3. Now 23 into 3 is equal to 69, but the number here is 67, so what we do is subtract 2. So you can see a pattern is emerging, into 2 minus 1, into 3 minus 2. So next number should be what? Into 4. You see the first one is into 2, next one is into 3, next is into 4, minus 1, minus 2, so next one should be minus 3. And do into 4 minus 3, you get 265, and then next number when you do 265 into 5, so what will do now? Minus 4, that will give you 1321, and 1321 next we will do into 6 and minus 5, and that will give you the answer 7921. That is the answer here, 7921. Now this also is not a very simple direct question. It requires you to understand, obviously reasoning skills are required, but compared to the other questions that were there in the paper, this was of moderate difficulty level. So we are saying that out of the total of 5 questions that you got from the number series, 1 maximum based on how well prepared you are, 2 were moderate, you can say, 3 were definitely difficult. So in the exam scenario, if you would have done 2 questions from number series, moved on to approximation, searched for the simpler questions in approximation, do them first and then move on to quadratic equations, and then assess in around 8-9 minutes how many questions you have done, and then decide what would be your strategy for the remaining time that you have. Clear? That's how you should be going about it. If I spend on number series itself 10 minutes and I have done only 3-4 questions confidently and now 10 minutes left, that means your exam is already done and over. Which is why we are saying be very careful in terms of how do you choose and solve questions. Now in approximation also we say that there were 3 difficult questions. So out of the 3 difficult questions, let's see why we are saying that this question was difficult. Now we have to solve this question. Square root of 15129. Okay, so it's a 5-digit number, and we have to find out the square root of this number 15129 plus the square root of a 4-digit number here 6887. Okay. So if you look at these 2 numbers, and we have to find out what will be the sum. So finding out 2 square roots, one a 5-digit number, and the other a 4-digit number in 30 seconds and getting the answer sometimes can be complicated. If you start finding the square root of 15129 in the usual way, that's going to take up a lot of time. This alone might take up around 10 to 15 seconds, right? So this is not going to be the best approach for you. What you should do is use a shortcut technique that I have discussed with you in the square root and cube root class. So you can go back and look at the videos on how to find square roots faster and cube roots faster. Now 9 is, you can say, when the number is ending in 9, the square root can end in 3 or 7. And 151, you see, 12 square is 144 and 13 square is 169. So it's 123 something, 123, 127. Number need not always be a perfect square. So what we can do is, you can just look at quickly what would be the square of 125. So 125 square using the shortcut technique of 12 into 13 is 156. And 5 square 25, it's a little less than that, something close to 123. In fact 15129 is a perfect square and it's a square of 123. Also, if you know base method, you can check very quickly what will be the square of 123 and you will know that the square will be 15129. That's how we get the first number here, 123. Next number is 6887. So again, finding out the square root in the usual way, doing all the calculation, that is not very feasible. So what we are going to do is this, that we are going to cut out the last 2 digits using the shortcut technique of square roots. If you look at the last number 7, now perfect square never ends in 7. So let's say 6886. Okay, let's make it 6886. So it could be something like 4 or 6, and 68, 8 square is 64, 9 square is 81. So it's around 84 or 86. Mid number, let's check with the mid number 85 using the shortcut technique of square calculation. That also you can watch in the video, how to find the square of numbers using the number ending in 5 technique. If you know that, you can do it very quickly. 8 into 9 72, 5 square 25. You can see very clearly this number is around 84 because less than 85 square is around 84. You can actually take 83 or 84, does not matter so much. Even if you take 84, the answer will not change. You will get 207. Now the value we are getting 206 here, it's 207. It's an approximation question, please understand. We don't have to find out the exact value. We can find out an approximate value also, so the answer becomes C. Now if a student does not know the shortcut technique of finding square roots of numbers or shortcut technique of finding square of numbers, this question is a very, very time taking question. You might end up spending almost a minute solving this question. If you don't know how to find square roots, that's a different story itself. However, this is the reason why we say you must go and revise all the shortcut techniques that we have done in the shortcut technique classes. So number of topics I have covered for you: multiplication, I have covered for you the square, cube methods, square roots and cube root methods. So go through and watch fractions and decimals. So watch all those videos, make sure that you learn the fastest techniques of calculation. Next, look at this question, which again we qualify as a high difficulty question because of the amount of calculation that is involved. However, if you look at these numbers here, what is given to you? 24.891% of 1771.94 plus 29.89% of 1199. So if you are familiar with the shortcut techniques that we have discussed with you, divided by, this entire thing is in a bracket, divided by 72.9, what will be the answer? Okay. So if you are familiar with this percentage calculation techniques that we have done in the percentage class as well as in data interpretation, that is percentage calculation by fraction and percentage calculation by parts. If you know these techniques, that is how to convert a percentage into a fraction and then calculate quickly, you will not take much time in solving this question. So what you will see is 24.891 is very close to 25. So why can't we just approximate it to 25% of, and 1771.94 I can approximate it to 1772. Clear? Because increasing by 0.06 will not really cause any difficulty in the way the question works out. Now 29.89%, we can make it as 30%, and 30% of, now 1199 we can approximate to 1200, and this we are going to divide by 73, so 72.9 will become 73. Now 25% in fraction is 1 by 4, so that would be the best way of going about this question, and 4 can definitely divide 1772, and 30% you cancel 10, it becomes 10%, multiply with 3, you get 360, okay, and 4 will cancel this how many times, 4 into 4 is 16, we get 17, 4 into 4 is 16, 443. So 443 plus 360 divided by 73, 443 plus 360, 803, 803 by 73 is approximately 11, so the answer becomes equal to 11. So how do you approach an approximation question that I have discussed with you in the approximation technique class? You can go and see the approximation technique class, how to work with percentage based approximations, how to work with square roots or cube roots based approximation. All these things I had covered in detail in the approximation technique class. Revise through those concepts so that you can crack all the 5 questions of approximation in the examination, even if they are of high difficulty level. When you know the techniques, no question is of high difficulty level. Keep that in mind. Okay. Now we will see the 2 questions on quadratic equation. They say that in quadratic equations 2 moderate and 3 difficult. So first we will look at question number 15 and say what do I mean by a moderate difficulty level. A moderate difficulty level question from quadratic equation is that question which can be factorized simply and where the roots are integer values, either positive integers or negative integers. When roots are integer values, it's easy to factorize and solve the quadratic equation. So if you take x square minus 21x plus 104 equal to 0, and if you know basic multiplication tables, you will know that 13, so this 21x I can write as minus 13 and minus 8, because 13 plus 8 is 21, minus 13 minus 8 is minus 21. Also we know that 13 into 8 is 104, so if I know the multiplication table of 13, this calculation of this square, the roots of the first quadratic equation would take around 5 seconds. Minus 13 becomes plus 13, understand the shortcut technique of finding roots, minus 8 becomes 8. So what are the roots? 8 and 13. So immediately draw a line diagram and write there 8 and 13, these are your values of x. Okay. Now the next quadratic equation is y square minus 31y plus 228 equal to 0. So how are you going to factorize this? 228, so try to factorize it quickly. 228 I can write as 4 into 57, and 57 I know is equal to 3 into 19, that gives us 12 and 19, and you can see 12 and 19 adds up to 31. So we will write minus 12 minus 19. Again, if you are quick in doing this, then only you can solve it in 5-10 seconds. Okay. So minus 12 minus 19 is minus 31, and 12 into 19 is 228. To get the roots, just write these numbers and change the sign. So 12 minus 12 becomes plus 12, and 19 becomes minus 19 becomes plus 19. So if you plot the roots here, just let me increase this line. So if you are taking this line here, okay. So what is our y value? 12. So 12 will come somewhere here. This is 12 y value, and 19 will come here. This is y value. So the x value and y value are overlapping. If any time it overlaps, that means we cannot find out the relationship. Simple as that. If the x value and y value overlap, even if one value of y is lesser than, greater than another value of x, comparison is not possible. If both values of y are less than both values of x, or both values of y are greater than both values of x, then we can compare them. Okay. So the answer here is E, that is the two values cannot be compared. We cannot establish which one is greater, which one is smaller. Okay. Now continuing with the next question, which I say is again of moderate difficulty level, because in this question also one of the roots we can take integers and the other also we can solve. The other three questions on quadratic equation, if you look at the paper and try again, you will see that they all have fractional roots which are very complex for you to simplify and factorize and find out. Okay. So in such situations what you could do is, you finding difficult to factorize, use a formula method, and instead of wasting time thinking about how to factorize, use a formula method. So alpha is equal to minus b plus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. This would be a better case in some questions where it is difficult for you to factorize. X square plus 7x plus 10, this is a very simple question. We can write 7x as 2x, 2 and 5. The roots are minus 2, minus 5. You see, plus becomes minus, same numbers 2 and 5. So very quickly, hardly takes 3 seconds for you to do this, because you can just look and tell what is the answer. Now the next one, 2y square plus 29y plus 99 equal to 0. How will you find out the roots? What you will do is, you will multiply 2 and 99, that is 198, and then you can think about how can I simplify 198. If you know the technique of 11, the divisibility rule for 11, you will know that this number is divisible by 11. It is 11 into 18. You see, 11 into 18 is 198, and for this I have given to you a shortcut technique also. Whenever you are multiplying a number with 11, what you do is, you add the digits and put the sum in between. Clear? So if you are familiar with all the shortcut techniques that I have taught you, these questions you can solve in 10 seconds only. Okay? So 2 into 99 is 198, and we can simplify it 11 18. We can see very clearly that 11 plus 18 is 29. So how will I write it now? 2y square, or we do not have to do that also, we can use the direct shortcut technique and solve it. Okay. So we will write here 29, I can split 29 as 18 and 11. Okay. Now the way we will solve it quickly is, this plus 18 becomes minus 18 and plus 11 becomes minus 11, but please keep in mind that here there is a coefficient of y square also. So divide by 2. You divide by 2, what do you get? Minus 9 and minus 5.5. Clear? You can find the roots very easily if you know these techniques. Just a minute. Okay. All right. So yeah, we are here in this question. So the way we find out the roots, minus 9 and minus 5.5, without having to worry about factorizing it completely. So this shortcut technique will play an important role in how fast you can solve questions in the exam. So after getting the roots, it's not just done, we still have to do a lot of things. We have to find out whether the roots can be compared or not. So what we'll do is to draw a line here, a number line, and plot the roots. Okay, so one is 2 and 5, one is minus 2 minus 5. So we know that minus 2 is here, minus 5 is here. This is your value of x. This is your x range. Okay. Now minus 9 is this side, minus 5.5 and minus 9, this is a y range. Now both values of y are less than values of x. So answer becomes A, that is x is greater than y. Okay. So how to solve quadratic equation? What is the right method of going about quadratic equation? That also we have seen in this particular question. Now moving on to the next question, that is from percentage. And again we will see why this is a tough question. The approach of solving this question is so different from other percentage questions that you have done, and other percentage question that you have seen in any of the books that you can come across in a banking, for a banking examination. This is so different from all of them, and the approach of solving this question is so different, which is what makes it little complex to handle in the exam scenario. Okay. So we say it's a high difficulty question. Now you see, in a college 45% male students support team A, whereas 75% of women support team B. Also 60% of those who support team B are women. 70% of those who support team A are men. This is what is called as overlapping percentages. What is the percentage of students in the college who support team B? So we have answer options A, B, C, D, and also indeterminable for those who will try and they will think that there is no way to solve it. Okay, but there is a very simple way of approaching this question. So again, if you know the technique that I am discussing with you now, you will see that it is a very simple question for you to try. So what you will do is you will make a table first. Quickly you will make a table. So we will see what are the categories. We have men and women. So we can write it on the left hand side, and plus we also have team A. So what are the categories we are talking about? Men, women. How many men, how many women, how many supporters of team A, how many supporters of team B. We will put them in the column headings. Okay. So men on the left hand side and team A and B on the top. So what we can do now is to just see what is the question telling us. So if the question is telling us that in the college 45% male students support team A. So what we do, we don't know how many males are there in the college. So we will take this as, let the number of males be X. How many males are there? X. And how many females? Y. Also we don't know how many supporters are there of team A. So put that as A. And how many supporters of team B? Let that be B. Okay, so these values we have assumed. Let the total number of men be X and total number of women be Y, total number of supporters of team A be A, and total supporters of team B be B. Now what is given to you in the question very clearly that 45% male students support team A. So if the total number of male students is X, 45% is equal to 0.45, okay, 4500. So 0.45x support team A and then remaining 0.55x support team B. Similarly, if total number of women is equal to Y and we know 75% of women support team B, so 0.75 Y goes here and then 0.25 Y goes under team A. Clear? Now we are not doing anything with the values A and B right now, that is where we will compare. Now next thing given to you is also 60% of those who support team B are women, whereas 70% of those who support team A are men. We can use any of these two data to compare and solve. Both are not required. Any one of that is sufficient. Let us say for example, we will use 70% of those who support team A are men. What will happen? See this 0.45x, we know how many men support team A, what is the value in team A under men? 0.45x, and this is given to you as 70% of those who support team A. How many people support team A? A. So 70% of A are men. How many men are there? 0.45x. So 70% 0.70. So we get one equation here, 0.45x is equal to 0.70A. We can write x by A, so 0.45x is equal to 0.70A. So x by A, you see, A goes this side, 0.45 goes this side, 0.70 by 0.45, or that is equal to nothing but 70 by 45. And simplifying, what do we get? 14 by 9. So we get one ratio of x by A. Now if 70% of those who support team A are men, that also means that 30% of those who support team A are women. Total supporters of team A is equal to A, and 30% of this A should be equal to 0.25y. So 0.25y is equal to 0.30A because 30% is equal to 0.3. This gives us the ratio y by A 30 by 25. 2. From 1 and 2, when you divide x by A upon y by A, 14 by 19 upon 30 by 25, A will get cancelled and x by y equals to 350 by 270. I can simplify it as 35 by 27 also, but taking it as 350 and 270 makes it easier for us to calculate percentages. Now we will go to the last one. What is the percentage of students in the college who support team B? Clear? Let us say the number of men are 350 from the ratio x equal to 350, y equal to 270. Let the number of women be 270. How many people support team B? 0.55 of x and 0.75 of y support team B. So we will calculate it here. Supporters of team B men, 0.55 of 350 is 192.5, and supporters of team B women, 0.75 of 270, that's 202.5. Total supporters of team B equals 395. The question is asking you what is the percentage of students in the college who support team B. How many students support team B? 395. How many students are there in the college? Now we have assumed X to be 350 and Y to be 270. So total students in the college equals 620. Dividing this, we get the answer 63.7%. Look at the question and the way you have to approach, plus the amount of calculation and equations we have to work out while solving, which is why we say this is a high difficulty question in the paper. Next, look at the question on ratio. Why do we consider this as high difficulty? Why did I say this is a high difficulty question? Again, this question of ratio has not come yet in any bank examination. If you go through the different books that are there in the market for bank exams, you will not find this question anywhere. So the way of approaching ratio inside a ratio is a very unique type of question. Now if you get this question because of it being new, people having no experience of working out something like that, they will take a lot of time in reading also. You see, there is a lot of reading to be done. So when you solve a question, now keep in mind that you are giving an examination, we have only 20 minutes. And when you are solving number series, you are solving approximation, quadratic equation, here and there, around 10 minutes will go. You have a data interpretation set. If you try a data interpretation set for 5 marks, that alone will take around 6 minutes of your time. You are left with 4 minutes in which you are going to try one question from percentage, maybe one question from ratios, and there you, for each question you have just 30-40 seconds. You have in a very tight, time constraint, which is what makes it difficult. And plus it being a new question, so much data to read. So let's see what is there. Student in an MBA college have to select 2 specializations, okay, from 4 streams. So they have to take any 2: marketing, finance, operations and systems. Any 2 of these specializations they can take. So they can take marketing with finance, or marketing with operations, or marketing with systems, or finance with operations, or finance with systems, or operations with systems. So these are the different combinations they can take. What is given to you that for the final year, okay, that they have to select for final year. Okay, 1/3 of the students chose marketing and opted for finance, operations and systems in the ratio 2:3:1. 4/9 of the remaining students chose finance and opted for operations and systems in the ratio 2:3. The remaining students chose operations and systems. So how will we work it out? Because it's a ratio inside a ratio, 2 ratios are there. So let's start with the first fractions. Let's first just work with fractions. 1/3 of the students chose marketing. So and opted for this, we'll see later. Okay, first let's see. 1/3 of the students chose marketing. So total students are 3. How many chose marketing? 1. Why? Because 1/3. And what is remaining after that? Remaining after that is 2. This is remaining, R1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. This is what we say remaining. While scaling ratios, this is sometimes very useful. Okay. Now what we know that 4/9 of the remaining, now this ratio will come to it later, 4/9 of the remaining students chose finance and then opted for operations, and then we will see that later. First let's see, 4/9 of the remaining students chose finance. So the remaining students is 9, number of those who chose finance will become 4, because 4/9, and what will be the new remaining now? 2, that's 5. The remaining students chose operations and systems, so we can write directly here that the remaining students chose operations and systems. Operations and systems. Clear? Okay. Now you can understand. Total students are there 3. 1/3 chose finance. After that, what they do, that we'll see later. 1/3 chose finance. Remaining is 2. 3, 1, 2. Of the remaining, 4/9 chose 1/3 chose marketing, and then out of the remaining 4/9 chose finance. So if remaining is 9, finance is 4, leftover is 5. This 5 will take operations and system. So first scale these 2 ratios, multiplying using the scaling technique: 9 into 3, 9 into 1, 9 into 2, 2 into 4, and 2 into 5. This is a scaling method. So 27, 9, 18, 8, and 10. So we get 27x, 9x, 18x, 8x and 10x. So we multiply x. Let's say the total students are 27x and so on and so forth. Now we know that marketing, how many people have taken? 9x. After taking marketing, they are opting for one more subject, either finance, operations or systems. In what ratio? 2:3:1. So how many are taking, let's say, see, marketing plus finance, marketing plus operations, marketing plus systems, right? In the ratio, we are breaking this in the ratio 2:3:1. Clear? So total students have taken marketing are 9x. So marketing plus finance will be 2/6 of 9x. You see, why 2/6? Because 2:3:1, 2:3:1, 2/6. Marketing plus operations 3/6 of 9x, because total students are 9x. Marketing plus system 1/6 of 9x. That gives us 2/3, that's 1/3 and 3x. So that is 3x. Marketing plus finance 3x, marketing plus operations 4.5x, that is 7.5x, and that will become 1.5x. So how many have taken marketing plus finance? 3x, marketing plus operations 4.5x and marketing plus systems 1.5x. Similarly, let's look at finance. Total is 8x. And we know that after choosing finance, they opted for operations and systems in what ratio? 2:3. So finance plus operations, finance plus systems, how will we calculate? 2/5 of 8x and 3/5 of 8x. Okay, 2/5 of 8x and 3/5 of 8x, that is 16/5x, that is equal to 3.2x, and 24/5x, that is equal to 4.8x, 3.2x, 4.8x. And operations plus system, how many have taken? 10x. So let's write here total all the people who have taken all the subjects. Marketing plus finance, how many have taken? 3x have taken. Marketing plus operations, how many have taken? 4.5x have taken. Marketing plus system, how many have taken? 1.5x have taken. Okay, then finance plus operations 3.2x, finance plus systems 4.8x, and operations plus systems 10x. Total students are 27. Now how many people have taken operations? How many have taken operations as one of their specializations? Okay, how many have taken operations as one of their specializations? Now we can see operations is here, operations is here also, and operations is here also. So we have to add all these values, 4.5x plus 3.2x and 10x. So 4.5 and 3.2, that is 7.7 plus 10, 17.7x have taken operations. If any of these values is given to you, you can find out all the actual values in the exam. There can be a question based on percentages also that we can create from this. This could become like a larger question on data interpretation too. So the way we solve this question, very important to understand. So we have discussed, we have done the analysis of the paper, also have seen some of the most important questions from the paper, and also discussed few techniques. So it's important for you to understand why you are taking the mock test, to evaluate yourself, get ready for the examinations, and also analyze and look at the paper to develop the right strategy for yourself, not for others, for yourself. What is working best for you? So keep taking all the mock tests. Best of luck to you, and make sure that you score well, observe the paper, analyze your performance, and evaluate whether you are ready for the examination or not. Thank you.